getting into our actual news of the week, we have some, I'm going to say confirmed speculation is the new phrase because
James isn't shooting it down. So
exactly. James Gunn is not shooting these down. It's just speculation. But the fact that he didn't say no means to me it's confirmed speculation of some Superman legacy casting. So a Hollywood Reporter article recently came out of certain people have screen tested for various roles in Superman Legacy, like Superman, Lois, and Lex. And as he does, people reached out to James Gunn. It's like, hey, is this legit? Is it not? And James Gunn kind of sidestepped the question. He's just like, I never say who screen tested for what unless the actor themselves has come forth, like Glenn Howerton and Zachary Levi both apparently auditioned for Star-Lord and didn't get it. He says, I don't bring that up unless the actors themselves have brought that up first. And that's kind of all he said.
That's a good move. I like that move.
Oh, yeah. I completely understand that and respect that because some of these people aren't going to get the jobs. And so they can tell that story on their own time later.
It'd be like the concept of like your almost boss being like, you know what, loser almost had this job.
You almost got this job.
Yeah. I wouldn't be a fan of that at all.
So there's quite a few names bandied about, and some of them are very exciting, and some of them I'm a little curious about, but there's conflicting reports. So let's break it all down. For Superman, there's either one name or two names, depending on what they're feeling at the moment. Allegedly, Pearl actor David Corenswet? Corenswet? I don't know how to pronounce it. I will eventually if this guy gets it. He's one of the front runners to get it. But Nicholas Holt, my doppelganger, is also in the running. But here's where it gets weird. This original Hollywood Reporter article would later be disputed by somebody else, like Variety, or maybe even Hollywood Reporter wrote an altercation to their article saying, no, Nicholas Holt is actually in the running for Lex Luthor, and he's the only name being considered for Lex. To which I'm going, as much as I love Nicholas Holt, I think he does fit a young Lex Luthor better than he does a young Clark. Like, he's a great actor, but I think he can...
Yeah.
And I mean this in the nicest way possible, I don't think he'll ever pass as the all-American good old boy. Like, he's got an edge to him that works really well in his favor. I guess you can kind of say that he was that when he was Beast in X-Men, but I think he'd be a great Lex. David Corenswet, I have heard this name for what feels like years because he has been, besides Wolfgang Novogratz, he is like the fan favorite just off his look alone because, guys, this dude looks like a young Henry Cavill, like, for real. And he's on the up and up, so he's still relatively young in the industry. Not in a whole bunch of stuff, but if he does get cast, for sure, I'm going to watch everything that he's in just to kind of see what he brings to the table. I did watch a few of the interviews that he's done, and he seems to have a good confidence and not arrogance, but interesting presence to see that I could absolutely see being a Superman or a Clark here. Good voice. Again, this is all speculation, but I do believe there's some smoke to this, especially with the Nicholas Holt thing as Lex, because if you remember, Nicholas Holt has circled quite a few other superhero projects. I feel like we talked about in the podcast here. He was one of the finalists to be Batman at one point.
Yeah, it's wild.
Which I'm glad we got Pattinson. As much as I love Holt, I think Pattinson's the better choice. I've seen some people just like, you can't be the runner-up to Batman and then be Superman. I'm going, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I've always thought that he fits better for Lex anyway. But the other names are for Lois Lane, and we get more variety there. We had, because right now for Superman, we just have David Corenswet, depending on who is writing it, maybe Nicholas Holt, or maybe he's Lex, but then apparently Jacob Elordi from Euphoria was considered, but he never submitted an audition tape, according to a Hollywood Reporter article, which I'm just going, good.
How do you know that then? Wait, hold on.
Good, because I always kind of got a douchebag vibe from Jacob Elordi. I've never seen anything. He just kind of comes across as whatever. But Lois, there's quite a few people allegedly in the running. You get names like Emma McKay, Rachel Brosnahan from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Phoebe Dynevor, I believe, from Bridgerton, and Samara Weaving, who was most recently in Scream, but she was in Ready or Not, in Babylon. Josh, did you see The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
It's on
I'm
my
getting
list.
that mixed up with what's the Phoebe Waller-Bridge show?
Oh, Fleabag.
I always
Yeah.
get those mixed up.
And yeah, it is on my list of shows to watch. I've watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I do love it. The writing is fantastic, and I love Rachel. She's a fantastic actress. She does and there's I think no matter who you, how do I say this? When it comes to picking Lois, I have a feeling knowing James, especially after some of the interviews I've seen him in, he's going to lean more towards a Lois Lane from the Christopher Reeves movies than he is maybe some of the other ones. And if that's the case, I can absolutely see like a Rachel doing that, for me at least. But then again, that it kind of depends on who your Superman is, because you want that to kind of them to be able to play off of each other pretty well. But I'm sure we'll find out here fairly soon.
Now, according to these same reports, again, take them all with the biggest grain of salt that you can find, Rachel Brosnahan crushed her audition tape, so we'll see how that goes. I like the idea of Rachel Brosnahan or Samara Weaving. I don't know Samara Weaving's schedule, because she also is really blowing up, but I think she could be a really fun choice. I didn't love Ready or Not, but she's great in it. She's very limited in Scream. Piece that together as you will. She's very limited in Scream, but she's great in that too. She's just a likable character. I think David Corenswet very much could be our Superman here. He's got the look. He definitely has that like old school farm boy. It wasn't mentioned at all in this article, but ever since someone suggested, I can't get it out of my head of Stranger Things Gaten Matarazzo as Jimmy Olsen. And I want nothing more than that, please. Gaten Matarazzo as Jimmy Olsen. Dennis Quaid as Pa Kent, please. Michael Rooker as Perry White. Like, Nicholas Holt, my doppelganger, as Lex Luthor. That way, whenever I do it for Halloween, people won't think I'm Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad. They'll hopefully think I'm Lex instead.
So, what's really funny is that ever since you brought up that like Bradley Cooper could make a good Lex, I have literally seen pictures of him and been like, yeah, oh no, I kind of really like that. Don't get your heart set on it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're solely setting yourself up for heartbreak. But yeah, like I wish Bradley Cooper was in the conversation for that. But maybe they have him in mind for something else. I don't know. If anything at all. There's just a lot. I think, especially the casting for this is going to be interesting. I think James seems like the kind of person to give someone who is not as big, doesn't have necessarily quote unquote a lot under his belt. And so he doesn't necessarily have a lot of things that he's quote unquote known for. Someone who I hate it when people say isn't well known, there's tons of actors out there that are incredible at their craft that are quote unquote not mainstream names. So but yeah, the fan favorite for this for a long time. I would be surprised if James doesn't go in that direction. But if he doesn't, I feel like it's the other person is just as good. I after Guardians 3, I really like, and maybe this is recency bias or whatever, but like I have full faith in the dude. I mean, I had full faith in the dude before, but like now it's like excitement accompanying that full faith. I'm just excited to see where we go. Excited the stories that he's going to be able to tell. The man does not miss when it comes to comic book movies.
I think it's pretty evident now that we will get confirmed casting by Comic-Con at the latest, if not.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if like official trades make some official announcements probably in June, and then they officially announce Superman Legacy at Comic-Con, like the actor and maybe the logo or something of like what does the S look like this time around. or
Have
maybe
you
they bring out the
seen-
full on cast and be like,
I can see that.
here's
too,
everyone. Here's
yeah.
Dennis Quaid as Pa Kent. I refuse to let that go. It's too perfect.
Have you seen the? And 'cause I only bring this up because James like reacted. He like retweeted it and had a good laugh about it. The picture of it's the picture of like of Superman taking off
The Henry Cavill one.
the Henry Cavill one and has like a Christopher Reeves-esque one underneath, and it was like said Superman Legacy on the bottom, and I was just like, yeah, like this, like literally all you have to do is add color to that suit, and I think we'd be all super down.
I'm so excited to see what the costume looks like. Just looking at
Yep.
what James Gunn has done with costumes within his past couple movies, like Peacemaker, I think has some of my favorite costumes in any DC movie. The Guardians look spot on. My only complaint, not even spoilers, but I guess if you're that sensitive, mild spoilers. My only complaint with Star-Lord's costume is we never see him with the new helmet that's like that look from the comics of the dark blue with the red like trim. I was hoping for that new and improved helmet that we get for the comics, but never got that. Chris Pratt got to show that moneymaker in all scenes ever.
Which, oh my gosh, some of the stuff that James has come out now that he's not under contract with them anymore, with Disney anymore. He's like, yeah, like I don't know why I wasn't consulted on like these are technically my characters. I don't know why they didn't talk to me about how they're going to use them. Like what in the world? I was like, dang, all right.